Welcome to this week's episode of the Last Night's Game podcast. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried, and today we are going to talk all about the NBA. The NBA season is ready to start, and we are getting you all set up for the basketball conversation. And here to give us all the insights, as he always does, and all the brilliance, please welcome my co-host, my favorite brother, and my favorite human, Scott. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Favorite human's a stretch, I'm sure, but brother, I'll take.
I'll take you as my favorite human. You don't drive
Okay.
me nearly as crazy as a husband or a child.
For now.
It does
Yes,
help probably we don't live in the same place, so there's that.
exactly.
That's
We're
true.
far we are far away, and you are in the state where the defending NBA champions are located. So
Mhm.
that's you've got to be excited about that. Tipping off the NBA season. A lot to talk about within your state.
We're exciting, and I am 100% a bandwagon fan
Mhm.
because we never went to a Thunder game until last year, and so I'm not a bandwagon fan by, like, the fact that they were in the championship, but, like, we just went to a game last year, so we really never dove into the fandom of the Thunder, but, like, just fell in love with this team that it was gritty. There really weren't, big names. Obviously, SGA's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's a big name now, but he
Mhm.
didn't come on the stage like a LeBron or someone like that with all this hype.
No, it kind of flies under the radar. A quiet guy, loves fashion, but also likes winning. MVP of the league, MVP of the finals. Like you said, just a tough, gritty team. They were the youngest team in the league last year and had one of the most dominant seasons really we've seen in a very long time to win the NBA championship. It was really never even close, honestly. And I think maybe we can contribute that to you and the tiny human attending a game.
That's probably it. I think it was the mid-season. We went to, 3
With
quarters of it.
Charlotte Hornets, I
It
think.
was the Hornets. We went to 3 quarters of the game, and I had to keep feeding him snacks so he would make it through.
Yes. And that was probably like a 50-point victory, I think, if I'm not,
It was pretty painful, so from a Hornets fan perspective, so
if there are any, yes.
if they weren't there, I don't think.
No, they were not. And dominance is kind of boring. So I think maybe ratings were a little bit down last year, possibly because the Thunder just kind of crushed everyone. So,
That would make sense.
yeah.
So if we want a go-to conversation starter with NBA fans, something that is interesting, something that we can have a conversation as maybe a non-sports fans, what's
Mhm.
our go-to conversation starter with an NBA fan this year?
John Tesh, Roundball Rock.
Okay, so I don't know what Roundball Rock is, but I know that John Tesh is a old school, like, composer and an actor, I think from, like, maybe the '80s?
And I think he was, I was informed that he was on Entertainment Tonight
He was, I
for like
believe.
10 years, whilst his Roundball Rock fame was sky high. And it is such a big deal because NBC is getting NBA back for the first time in what, like 24 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
Ton of money, like I think like $11 billion, something crazy. They're getting the NBA back. And kind of why this is such a big deal is all the highlights you see of like Michael Jordan hitting game winning shots in the championship was mostly all in NBC. And we haven't had NBC in a long time. So our era growing up, you see all these nostalgic, videos of MJ hitting shots in people's faces. It's all on NBC. And Round Ball Rock was their anthem, I
Should we
believe is
play
the
it
right
really
word.
quick?
Cue it up. You'll know it.
See
You've
if
heard
this
it.
sounds familiar to you.
There it is. Legally
There it is.
speaking, that's all we can do, but I'm sure everyone knows that jingle. So that's going to be a big conversation starter all year. Round Ball Rock is like just infamous with NBA fans that they've been begging for so long, and now it's finally here.
And you sent me a link. There's a phenomenal old SNL skit
Yes.
with Jason Sudeikis that is pretty entertaining, and Vince Vaughn, that if that's your route you love, that's fun to
Mhm.
just make it a conversation starter. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's easy, and it's yes, hilarious.
it is pretty funny. So you kinda mentioned it. ABC's coming in, but you mentioned that ratings were down, not a lot, but
Mhm.
2% last year for the NBA. And I don't know that they're gonna make it. I'll be intrigued to see really how it works this season, because this season they've dove into a obscene amount of providers, sort of like NFL has done, and they're on different channels every single night.
They are. They're so ratings were down a little bit, possibly due to dominance by the Thunder, like we said. So NBA has gone the NFL route, and they've got Peacock and it's NBC, Peacock, ESPN, Amazon Prime, ESPN, ABC. They're on everything. And what they've tried to do is every night of the week is going to be designated a certain, streaming platform or channel. So that way people know where to see the games rather than, there's a random Monday night. What game are we watching? Is it even on TV? So they've gone to like where the NFL is so successful is, Thursday night football, Sunday football, and Monday night football. You know where to find it.
Mhm.
And over the course of the 82 game schedule with the NBA season, it's just, they can get lost in the mix, so they've designated Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a certain place to find it.
It's interesting because there are so many more games, like, the NBA is like, of
Yes.
course, or the NFL, I can remember that Thursday is prime and Monday night's ESPN, the rest I figure
Yes.
out in the middle, but there's not that many where it's like, this
No,
is every day of the week, and they're anywhere from prime to ESPN. They don't and Peacock, so they don't have as many well, I guess they probably do have just as many platforms as the NFL does, so it's costing NBA fans more money again.
it is. It is. And what we like as sports fans is convenience and just knowing where to go. We're simple. We're
Well, hopefully NBC makes it a little more available to people, so that'll be interesting to see how that shifts when we have this conversation at the end of the season.
yes, we will. We'll circle back at the end of the season, put a pin in this point, and we can go ahead and discuss that.
Now, everybody like not everyone like you don't have an NBA team, in Vegas.
Mm-mm.
So if we don't have a team to cheer for this season, who should we be cheering for?
We're gonna go Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Their fan base has been through a lot recently. They traded away their, you know, all-star world famous basketball player in the middle of the season for really nothing. And the fans kind of have rebelled against the team. And then magically, after trading their best player, Luka Doncic, to the Lakers, they happened to get the number one first pick in the draft in the lottery, which was very coincidental, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And they were able to draft Cooper Flagg, which has kind of been tapped as this generational talent. He's 18 years old. He went to Duke, played 1 year at Duke, which is required by the NBA. And he actually reclassified to go to Duke. So really, he should be a freshman this year in college. So he's kind of skipped a year, and
He's really
he's
young.
that good. Yes, and he's that good. He's kind of on the level of like LeBron didn't go to college, obviously, but he's on that level of like a LeBron James as far as hype goes. So I think it's easy to kind of get on board with them. The Mavericks fans were tortured last year, so they're hoping something goes well for them.
It's a lot of pressure for an
Yes.
18-year-old to come in and play against someone like a LeBron James or there's so many great veteran players
Mhm.
in this league, and he's so young. I mean,
Yes.
18 is like you said, it should be a freshman in college, and so it's interesting to see, but I mean, he's come in, he's signed the first Gatorade deal for men's basketball in college. He picked New Balance as his shoe deal that he has. We've seen him on AT&T commercials. You'll kinda see him all over the place.
You're going to see a lot of commercials with Cooper Flag. And I found an interesting point. You mentioned veterans. He does have two former number one picks on his team. So it's actually really impressive that he'll have this guidance with Kyrie Irving, who got hurt last year, and then Anthony Davis, who was traded for Luka Doncic to Dallas. So he's got some legit veterans there to kind of guide him, and it seems like he's mostly just it's all about basketball.
Oh, that's really cool. And Anthony Davis is the guy with the one eyebrow, right?
The unibrow, yes.
Yeah, okay.
The brow, if you will, if he's healthy, yes.
Is that his nickname, the Brow?
Yeah.
These are things I didn't know.
Hey, you gotta have something.
Then the really fun part too about what I love about basketball is if you're not into basketball,
Mhm.
there's a great way to tie in sort of the pop culture and celebrity side of things. There are so many celebrities that own basketball teams. There are frequent celebrities on courtside, especially at like a Lakers game, right? But you're used to
Yes.
seeing Drake at a Toronto Raptors game. Eminem is a big supporter of Detroit area sports. Kevin Hart, Jack Nicholson, Barack Obama, Mark Wahlberg. But talk to me about these owners. Give me a couple of those and give us some fun stuff to talk about.
And a great conversation started, like you said, there's so much pop culture reference with basketball that they kind of go hand in hand. So there is always something to talk about without actually talking about stats or free throws or whatever you want to do, strategy. So we have a few random athlete celebrity owners. Starting, we'll go Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, we have Justin Timberlake, who's kind of from that area. He's a minority owner. And then very randomly, Peyton Manning also has ownership in the Grizzlies. Then we have our Steelers quarterback, formerly of the Packers. He's a minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, Aaron Rodgers. And who we have, what, Usher bought into the Cleveland Cavaliers a long time ago. And he's
Mhm.
been riding that train pretty well since then. Let's see, who else
Do
do
we
we
have
have?
Jay-Z, who is
Formerly
that's right, formerly, because I think he had to sell his ownership in the Brooklyn Nets when he started his agency,
agency.
right? When he
Yes.
started being a sports agent. Okay.
Yes, there's a little bit of a conflict there
Just a
if
tiny
had he
bit.
retained ownership. So Jay-Z formerly owned the Brooklyn Nets.
And he's also super involved with the NFL. I think he helps pick the halftime show, like, his production company is involved there. So
Yes.
it's interesting to just see how he just has got it all figured out. Speaking of celebrities, I was thinking randomly the show Running Point, which was Kate Hudson that came out, I think, earlier this year. A
Yes.
great show, like, I very much enjoyed it. Everyone I know who watched it loved it. And I was hoping that there would be another season that coincides with basketball season because that would be fun. But that's based off of the story of Jeannie Buss, who is the owner of the Lakers.
Yes.
Her dad own the Lakers, same kind of similar scenario, and I think she's a, executive producer on the show too, and, like, has helped, like, write the script and things, so it's
I'm
cool
sure.
if you wanna get and you haven't watched it or you wanna get excited about basketball season, that's kind of a fun one to usher in, and it looks like they will maybe release a new season. April 2026 would be just ahead of right around the playoffs then.
Yeah, good timing. And actually, you mentioning this kind of sparked something in my brain. The Lakers are kind of like a family-run business in a weird way. They weren't this like big billion-dollar corporation with all kinds of investors. So they actually over the offseason they sold for 10 billion to get a ton of cash in there. Mark Walters, I believe, is part owner of the Dodgers and maybe some
Mhm.
other entities. So they got a huge inflection of cash into the franchise, which does have LeBron James and, like we mentioned, Luka Doncic, who got traded from the Mavericks. So she's been running point on some big deals recently.
Now I need to look it up as I did they sold the majority of it, right? Oh, this has
I believe so.
selling the
Yeah,
majority ownership. Okay, so they may
yeah,
still be doing some operational things.
yeah. And
We
I
don't
like their like front office and like scouting department was not up to the level of some of these other franchises who have billions of dollars pumping in through private investing. That was a big change needed for the
That's interesting.
franchise.
You would think that
Yes.
the Lakers are the Lakers, like, you would think they
You
had
think
that,
that,
but
yeah. Not necessarily true.
I mean, nothing
Now
that
now it
10
will be, yes.
I was gonna say nothing that $10 billion can't help.
It could certainly help us.
Yeah. Could give everybody just a little bit of a leg up.
Yes.
So, we're talking about the Lakers, and it actually leads me to my next conversation is, if you wanna fire up a sports fan about the NBA season, what should you talk about?
LeBron James.
He's always polarizing.
It's obligatory you have to mention him in any NBA conversation and
Mhm.
or podcast. So here we are. We uh we will mention him as he is about to make history in a very interesting number of years that he's been playing. He's about to be the only player to ever play 23 seasons in the league.
Oh, wow.
And if you're into numbers and numerology, 23 also happens to be Michael Jordan's number, who he's been compared to his entire career.
Mhm.
So it's kind of, ceremonial, I guess, is maybe the word to use, that's his probably maybe last season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, he maintains himself well, like, he's really diligent about all of
Yes,
his performance. Interesting that seasons. I didn't realize that that is a long time to play
that
basketball,
is
but
a
like you said,
that is a very long time.
he came out of high school.
Yes. So 23 seasons, 41 years old, that's what more than half his life, I think,
Mhm.
in the NBA, if I'm not really good at math, but it's really crazy to think about that since he was in high school, he's been on the front page of everything, been a headline of everything, and now he's got his son on the team, kind of. And if he sticks around for 4, which would be one of Kobe's numbers, he could possibly have his other son on the team, which would be just a media firestorm would that happen.
Well, so his son, Bryce,
Yes.
is a freshman at U of A, University of Arizona, where you went to school,
Mhm.
your alma mater, and so he has the call you have to play 1 season out of high school basically to enter the NBA draft.
Yes.
And so whether that's the G League or in college, and so Bryce, in theory, could that'd be a record breaker to have 2 sons because Bronny plays for the Lakers, but he was kinda in and out of the
Mhm.
G League, right? Like the G League is a development league for the NBA.
Yes. So it's like the AAA of baseball, basically, that you can go up and down depending on your contract and play in both teams, and he's kinda jumped back and forth, and most likely jump back and forth again this year. Bronny's kind of on the I mean, in the real world, he's not small, but he's about 6'2", 6'3", and then Bryce got his father's height, and he's like 6'7", so major height difference there. So depending on his season at Arizona, who knows? LeBron will pull some strings and go somewhere and have not only 1 child, but 2 and really make history.
That would be really interesting. That'll be interesting to watch in the offseason this season.
Yes, that'll give everyone talking head on TV something to yell about. That's for
That's
sure.
it. So you can always drop a LeBron James into conversation,
Mhm.
when it comes to the NBA season, and that will definitely get a basketball fan fired up and going. And there's
Yes.
enough about LeBron that you can talk about it as a non-sports fan. He
Mhm.
has, a production company. He does all kinds of things. Part of the reason, one could assume he moved to LA was to have a bigger stage, a bigger platform, a chance to appear in movies and things like
Yes.
that. Because he was in the last Space Jam, if I remember correctly.
It was yes, he was the main character who took over for Michael Jordan, number 23. So he's kind of gone along this path as well. They both have tequilas, which
That's right.
I think is Lobos is
Mhm.
LeBron, and I can't think of Michael Jordan's at this time, but they are both tequila guys. So yet another parallel between the 2.
And, LeBron's really interesting because Sinekuro is,
Think
Jordan's,
what and
but LeBron's really interesting because his partner in his entertainment business, like, his people are, like, 4 buddies that he grew up with, and
yes,
they have all stuck together. They have done I'm going to assume was some of the things that were in the best interest of LeBron's career.
yes.
They've grown their empires together, which I think is actually really cool because you see so many athletes come up and you have so many hanger-oners,
Mhm.
and they may have been, but it seems like they're a positive reinforcement to all of that, and I'm blanking on his name, but Adele's husband, aren't they
Rich
like a
Paul.
yes, aren't they like they're a pair too, aren't they? They're buddies
Yes,
too?
so Rich Paul is his buddy who runs his, like, sports agency, which is a sports agent, which there's probably a conflict of interest there as well,
He
considering
doesn't run it.
he represents most of quite a few of LeBron's teammates and former teammates. Certainly a interesting dynamic there. He runs that, and he looks like I don't know when the due date would be, but Rich Paul is expected to have a child with Adele. I don't know when. At some point.
Really, I did not know this.
I believe so, yes.
If this is what the internet says.
Yes, maybe,
Okay.
possibly.
Noted. This is something I did not know, but we will fact check this. I was gonna ask, now I'm really what the question was. Oh, and then didn't LeBron, like, bring in the coach, JJ Redick, for the Lakers, like, used to be his podcast buddy or something like that, but also was a former NBA player?
So if you have a opening for a coach and you do a podcast where you drink wine with a former NBA player, that's the best way to get a job, I guess. JJ Redick, longtime NBA player, also went to Duke like Cooper Flagg, and he had no prior head coaching experience before getting the Lakers job last year. So it's a tough job. I think he's finding out how tough it really is, and we'll see how year 2 goes.
Well, you're definitely on a big platform, right? I mean, it's once again,
Yes,
it's the Lakers.
the
You're not
Lakers.
picking up a small market team,
No,
to give it a whirl.
yeah, and you're responsible for the 23rd season of LeBron James' historic Hall of Fame career. So there's a
Something
lot of pressure on that.
something tells me LeBron's probably doing his own coaching.
I think LeBron has mostly coached himself his entire career. So,
That makes
yes,
sense.
if you look at
Interesting.
his track record of coaches not being coaches long.
Got it. That's interesting.
Yes.
I googled the, Adele baby, and it's not confirmed. There's
Uh,
speculation, but it was on a couple of, like, notable sites. It wasn't, like, on, like, the shady ones. Like, it wasn't Wikipedia telling me it, it was a couple of sites, so that it's possible. So don't
Okay.
be surprised if that happens,
Okay. If it's on the internet, it's true.
if it's true, and the baby's name will probably be LeBron or
Most like
James. Yeah,
James, probably
James.
James. James LeBron. James LeBron.
Well, I appreciate the insights into the basketball season. There's so much happening. It's getting me excited for watching another season. Of course, the NHL season kicked off last week, so that's happening right now too. We have baseball playoffs. There are so many things happening in the world of sports this week. Football, college football, NFL. If basketball isn't your thing, tune in with us for all the other things. But hopefully you will enjoy the basketball season and keep us posted if there are things that you want to hear at lastnightsgame.com. Thanks, Scott, for joining me.
Thank you.